Hi everyone. 6 months ago I made a video where I laid out my plans to upgrade my kayak, and the reason for the upgrades is that hoping that those upgrades would help me be more successful in fishing in 2022. Well, it's mid-November now, and I'm about ready to put my kayak away for the winter, so I thought I'd give a quick update on, let you know how the upgrades went and if those upgrades really helped me this year. So one of the first things I did is I put an anchor trolley on my kayak, and I have to admit that it's really long overdue. I didn't know it was long overdue until I fished with it one season, and it was really great. So there are a lot of really decent anchor trolleys out there, but I decided I was going to go with the H2O brand anchor trolley. One of the reasons I like the H2O brand anchor trolley is it has a heavy duty hardware. It's got the metal pulleys, and it just seems sturdier than some of the others. Now, the other reason I like it is that it, first of all, had great reviews, the price was right, and frankly, having an anchor trolley named after the chemical symbol for water was pretty cool. If anyone's looked at my bio, they know that I had a 42-year career in the environmental and public health field, and my first job was in a water chemistry lab, so I just couldn't pass that up. I really like this trolley. It works really well. It's got a cleat in the center here that's used to lock it in place once you have the trolley lined up to where you want. That works very well. Then what I did is, like many other YouTubers, I added a piece of bungee in the front end of the trolley, and what this does is put tension on it so you don't have to worry about it sagging when you are out in the water. So it works really well. Okay, for an anchor, I went with a 5-pound grappler style anchor. It works fairly well, and as many have recommended, I've tied the line to the bottom of the anchor, and then at the top I put a cable tie attached to the line, and then in case this ever gets stuck on a rock or a tree or some brush, all I have to do is pull hard. This cable tie will break, the anchor will reverse, and I'll be able to pull it up here, so it should be able to break free a lot easier. Again, this comes with recommendations to almost everybody that uses a grappler style anchor. And then of course I have a float. And then for line management, I took a piece of 3/8 inch plywood and I coated with 3 coats of spar varnish. And then I have another carabiner here. So what will happen is once you get the line deployed and the amount you want out, you just hook it here, and then this will stop any further line from going out. And then for attaching to the kayak, this came from a recommendation from a couple of kayakers, Steve from Kayak Fishing and the Cornish kayaker, and it's basically a piece of line, and then I tied this to the kayak with a slip knot. And then in case we need to break loose, let's a big wave comes by or we have a big fish on, you just pull this line and the anchor will release, it'll slide out, and they'll just drop this in the water and it'll just float away, and I'll be able to see it with the marker here. Pretty slick. I only had to do that once. Okay, so I'm out on the water. What I do is I normally leave my anchor right behind my seat. I can reach around, take the anchor out, drop it over the side. Again, open the carabiner, deploy as much line as I want, lock it in place, and then adjust the trolley. Now, as I mentioned before, if I'm out of the water and I have to release the anchor right away because of a wave or some other issue, the slip knot here, it's just a matter of pull the slip knot, it opens up, releases, and it floats away. So it's a pretty slick system, and thanks Steve from Kayak Fishing. Great idea. I also made a 6-foot push pole this year out of a garden stake, and I used this to anchor when I was in shallower waters rather than deploying the anchor. And it worked okay. So the push pole, again, I just slipped it through the loop in the anchor trolley, and again made the adjustments wherever I wanted the kayak positioned, and that was it. It worked okay. It flexed a little bit more than I like. I'm going to try it one more season. If it doesn't work to my satisfaction, I'll break down and just buy a commercially available push pole. Okay, the last big item I added to our kayak this year was a fish locator, and I went with a Garmin Striker 4 Plus, and it worked great. Now what I did is I mounted this on the track, and I built my own track mount, and this is just made with a piece of 3/8 inch, I guess it's deck cladding. It's a synthetic wood plastic mixture, and it worked great. I'm going to put together another video just to show you a little more detail on how I made that. What I did then is I used a through the hull mount from Yak Attack, and I located everything under the hatch here. I decided to go with a through the hull transducer mount, so I used some duck seals, secured it in place, and I have to say it worked okay. I had to do some adjusting of sensitivity, but it seemed to work okay. I'm going to give it one more season, and if I'm not completely satisfied, then I'm going to go through with a scupper mounted transducer. As you can see over here, I also put my battery in the kayak hull, and I secured that in place with Velcro, and I'll show you how that's hooked up. My battery I located in a waterproof box, and what I did is I added a little bit of an O-ring here, and I sealed that in place with a little silicone caulking compound, and I have a quick release connector here. Here's just a quick shot of the quick disconnect. Works slick, and again, I can't take credit for this. This is something that's been recommended by many of the kayakers on YouTube. Okay, I'm going to do one quick walk around the kayak. This is the whole setup here. Probably the best upgrade that I put in this year was the fish locator, and I have to admit that it's been a challenge learning how to use it, but it's been great, and I did have some more success using the fish locator this year. One of the other things I did is I bought a new inflatable kayak jacket, and I can't stress enough that even if you're a good swimmer, it's really best to always be wearing some type of personal flotation device, because it's not necessarily that you can't swim, that you may have a boater that comes unnecessarily close to you. It's just not worth it. And again, another thing, you need to be visible, because again, other boaters may not be looking for you, particularly in the big lakes. So always use your warning flag. And that's it. So the question I had to ask myself, did these upgrades really help improve fishing this year? And the answer was yes. Definitely saw an improvement, particularly with the anchor trolley. I know the first time I was out with the anchor trolley in a little lake in southwest Wisconsin, Cox Hollow, and it was a little windy, and I was trying to fish the shoreline. There was a lot of shadows, a lot of brush. It was a perfect place to fish in the afternoon, and I just couldn't get in line. The wind was blowing too much. So I deployed the anchor, set the trolley, adjusted so I had the right casting position. I dropped in a red fluke, and I nailed a nice bass within about 5 minutes. So I used that particular day quite a bit, and it was successful. The push pole, I had some results, good results with that, but again, it flexed a little bit too much. But the fish locator was definitely an improvement. I was able to look at some of the lakes I fished in the past, and I found structure I didn't even know existed. I was also able to use that locator to find fish on breaks, and then adjust my drift so I could concentrate in fishing those areas. And I had some moderately good results. I think part of it is going to be a matter of getting some experience and learning how to read the fish locator and use it better as a tool. But otherwise, it's been a good year. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. And thanks for visiting my channel, and happy kayak fishing.